Hello and welcome to Reporters, the programme that brings you the very best stories from our correspondents around the world. Today we're in Bangladesh, where the textile industry is booming. 4 million workers around the country are dedicated to producing clothing for some of the world's biggest brands. And owners are cashing in on increasing demand. But while Bangladesh is fast becoming a textile goldmine, the industry workers are fighting for better conditions. Exhausted, hungry and struggling to make ends meet, unions and workers battle on for decent pay.
Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh, a chaotic, sprawling, congested city of 12 million. Bangladesh is one of the poorest countries in the world. It is counting on a new sector to drive its economy, the textile industry. Bangladesh wants to compete with China. It has become the world's 4th exporter of ready-to-wear clothing. In spite of his humble appearance, Prasanna Kanu manages a large clothing factory in the outskirts of Dhaka.
It's not good. I spend too many hours of my life in the bus.
Yet Kanu is among those Bangladeshi who have benefited from the growth of the textile industry.
This is an industrial zone. There are many garment factories.
Here.
How many garment factories?
1,000.
How many workers?
This is a million.
The group Kanu works for runs 3 factories. In this one, 1,200 employees sew trousers for the European and North American markets.
This is States, America, and this one just UK. Walmart, UK.
Walmart, but also Marks and Spencer's, are among its main clients. The key strength of this company, and of Bangladeshi textile in general, is its labor. These workers toil up to 70 hours a week.
Their maximum output is 70 or 80 pieces an hour. At the beginning of the day, it's perhaps 50 or 55. After that, it accelerates.
The Bangladeshi workforce is ruthlessly exploited. It is the world's cheapest, so the trousers coming out of this factory are sold to foreign distributors at unbeatable prices.
This is our purchase order contract. Order is 14,244 pieces. Unit price, US dollar, 6.74 pieces. But how much
the same trouser will be sold for 15 times more in Europe.
Actually, our country is little bit poor, underdeveloped country. For that reason, our rate is little bit less. Before, maybe 5 years before, China is less. Now China become high, their cost of living become high.
China is no longer the workshop of the world. Bangladesh has become the new gold mine of textile. But at what price? Last year, thousands of workers took to the streets of Dhaka to demand a pay raise. The ensuing crackdown left at least 3 of them dead. The workers were demanding a minimum wage of 50 euros a month. They only got 30.
Economically, I don't think that the minimum wage which had been fixed was the only option. Government always acts in response to various lobbies and pressure groups. In case of this garment industry, there are 23 members of parliament who are garments owners. In the whole parliament, 53% is businessmen. So naturally, the other business people are also against having a higher minimum wage, because higher minimum wage will be affecting everybody.
In the streets of Dhaka, stands are overflowing with goods, but inflation puts most foods out of reach for workers. The price of rice, the local staple, has risen by more than 30% in 1 year.
I spend a lot on food. I need between 3 and 5 kilos of rice per day. And rice costs 48 takas a kilo. It's impossible to eat meat or fish every day. Meat's too expensive, 270 takas a kilo. I would love to be able to buy some, but it's impossible.
Kulsum has been working in the textile industry for 30 years. With her current salary, she can barely feed her 5 children. A roofless kitchen, a pump shared with dozens of neighbors. Kulsum spends 80% of her salary on this house. But her income was no longer enough. Her eldest daughter had to quit school.
She's 20 years old. She started working at 13. School cost too much, so she had to work. They wouldn't hire her at the factory. So she put on a veil, makeup, and said she was 18. Then she was able to start working.
The young girl's salary finances her siblings' school fees.
Because I'm old now, I'd like to stop, but I haven't got a choice. I have to pay for my children's studies. I want nothing for myself, I just want to give them an education. My life is already over. I believe education is important. I was not able to get one, I want them to have one.
Day-to-day life is getting harder and harder for Kulsum. Her income has even decreased because of her age. Kulsum went to look for help at a labor organization.
I'm old. I've been working for more than 20 years, more than 25 years even. But my boss has demoted me to lower my salary. It's a strategy to pay me less. But if we protest, they threaten to fire us. If I lose my job, what am I going to do? What am I? What are my children going to eat? We can't even protest. So you leaders, what can you do?
The said leaders haven't really got an answer. Trade unions are forbidden in Bangladeshi garment factories. Labor organizations carry little weight. Workers are hesitant about joining because they fear reprisals, and authorities clamp down on leaders.
This is the textile workers leader, Mustafa Mishu. She's also president of the Democratic Revolutionary Party. She's been in prison since December the 13th.
Authorities consider that workers have nothing to complain about anymore since last year's pay raise. The administration in charge of textile makes no secret of its goal: protecting the sector's competitiveness and the interests of the bosses.
We need to ensure the sector develops. If owners make a profit, they can open new factories and employ more people. At this stage of our industrial development, there have to be profits for bosses to open new factories. And with this new salary, workers are satisfied.
The government wants to reassure. Above all, foreign investors must not be scared away. But the workers are far from satisfied.
You earn 40,000 takas, but how much do workers in your factory earn?
In my factory, they earn 3,000 takas.
And you think they can live with 3,000 takas? Do you know what staple foods cost in Bangladesh? A salary doesn't feed just one person. Take a worker, for example. If he has to keep a family of 4,
5,000 takas should be enough.
No, at least 12,000 takas are necessary. You can't live with 5,000, that's for sure.
Faisul Hakim, the leader of an opposition party, is trying to federate the workers' movement.
Friends, listen. Today in this country, there are a few thousand bosses and 4 million workers in the textile sector. There are two parties, bosses on one side, workers on the other. The government lets its textile workers get killed. Should we accept it or revolt? We have to accelerate the revolution against these bosses.
For now, Faisul Hakim's movement has only attracted 6,000 members. But Bangladesh's 4 million textile workers are facing daily hardships. On average, they earn 3 times less than an Indian worker and half as much as a Chinese.
Well, that's it for this edition of Reporters. You can watch this story and, of course, all our other reports once again on our website. Just log on to france24.com. That's france24.com. Until next time, bye-bye.
In Spain, there's no lack of wind or sun, so it's no surprise that in the space of a few years, the country has become one of the leading producers of renewable energy. As an early adopter, Spain can afford to be relaxed about its future energy needs. Largely fueled by these sustainable sources, the Spanish economy is slowly getting back on the road to recovery. France 24 takes you behind the scenes of this Spanish success story. Reporters, today, 10:10 a.m. Paris time on France 24.